All right, guys, Glenn Cunningham, Keller Williams Realty here in Little Rock, and this is The Conversation. Today, we have Robert Fisher with us. He's with the Sumbles team here in Little Rock. So, Robert, thanks for joining us.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, let's get this going. So, Tell me a little bit about you.
Okay. I am a husband. I'm married to my wife, Becca, going on 14 years now.
Good job.
I got two kids. I know, right?
Yeah.
Hope that's right.
Yeah.
I've got two kids, 8-year-old and a 4-year-old.
Cool.
Originally from Mississippi, and then moved here to swim. I'm a ex-collegiate swimmer for Henderson State University.
Are you really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Okay, cool. Broke some records, and they have since been broken, but that's in the past.
Okay.
I originally was going to school for sports medicine, so I was an athletic trainer for about 5 years, almost 5 years, for children's and a physical therapy clinic as well, but mostly children's. That was my day job. My day didn't start until 2. And so having a family and starting my job until 2 that ended whenever everything ended as far as athletics events and whatnot, it got taxing. And so I was looking for something else, something that would turn into a career. And my brother-in-law, he said, why don't you get into real estate? Because he's a commercial agent in Texas. Cool. And I was like, I've never sold anything. I don't know the first thing about selling things. And he was like, you just have to be a people person, honest, and approachable. And he was like, that's you. And so I was like, whatever. I'll go take the test and study and take the test and see what happens. And so I studied for about two months on my own, took the test online, passed it, came and interviewed multiple different brokerages. Keller Williams was my last one. And I met with team lead at the time. And she was like, yeah, just you need to do all these things. You can come, before you even pass the test, you can come and come to training. And that stood out to me because everybody touted that they had training, but nobody invited me to the actual training. Yeah. So that was a big point. And then as I was leaving, I met Randy Sumbles. And he was like, hey, I would love to sit down with you at some point. And I had no clue what a team was. And he was like, we can talk about a team and I can explain what we do. And the rest was history.
Okay. I love that. So, I know your brother-in-law, you said was in commercial real estate.
Yep.
But it seems like it's kind of counterproductive, though, because you were already doing something from 2 to later on in the evening, and then you get to real estate where most people want to show property after 5, right?
Yep.
How did that conversation go?
It was different. It was one of those things where it worked well for me because, prior to all that, I was basically not doing much of anything until starting from 8 to 2. I mean, I was doing nothing. I was just sometimes I'd go into clinic and cover some medical assistant type stuff. So I could fill in that time and work even while I was still in my full-time job. But I had 3 months where I was like, listen, I'm going to do this for part-time 3 months. January 1st, 2020, I'm going 100% full-time. Told my job that, and then I jumped into it. And I was able to be pretty flexible in the beginning stages because there wasn't really a lot going on, and then COVID hit. So we kind of stopped for about 3 months from when I started to when I really ramped up and things broke loose. So that gave me a good learning period from 8 to whenever to learn everything that I needed to know backwards and forwards. So it was really just kind of everything lined up perfectly timing-wise.
Yeah, that makes sense. So when you came in, you came into the training, you ran across Sumbles. Did you go solo for a amount of time, or did you instantly jump into a team?
Instantly jumped into a team. So I would, before I passed my test, I would come up here and study. I would sit in the computer room, and Randy would walk past me every single day. And so it was about a week before maybe a little bit longer, before we actually sat down and interviewed. And he pitched me the team idea, and it just kind of made sense because I had no clue what I was. I mean, how would you know what you're doing as any new career? And so I was already a little bit overwhelmed of I wanted to know everything about everything. I wanted to know how, I'm the type that I want to know how the light turned on when I flip a switch. Sure. And so I want to know what the listing side looked like, what the buyer side looked like, what conversations looked like. And so I was just a sponge ready to absorb as much information as possible. And that's what I saw as far as hearing the team talk, hearing in meetings. I would sit in meetings and I would hear what they're talking about, and it just sounded so fluid and so well, not scripted, but so well known from a knowledge standpoint, and that really stood out to me.
Love it. So did you interview with any other teams, or was that the one and done?
That was on, yeah. I mean, from everything that I heard, it didn't just sound like it was just somebody saying something to get me to help them. It was like, hey, we can help you, rather than vice versa. Just, we need your help. And so that was where I saw it.
Yeah, I love that. So, so on the Summels team, you're in a director of sales position. Most people don't know what that is. So explain that to me.
So our director of sales position is kind of all encompassing. So I'm a sales agent first and foremost, but being the director of sales, I kind of have my hand in everything as well from a team standpoint. So not only from Randy's deals that he does, I help out with those, but also the team. So like any other sales partner that we have, I help them if they have a problem. They call me. If they can't get me, they call Randy and Kathy.
Got it.
So I'm kind of the next higher up in terms of the process of hierarchy.
Cool.
So if somebody has a question, they call me. If somebody has a listing appointment, they call me and I can go with them.
Cool.
And that's kind of the requirement from the get-go. Like, I want to do the listing appointment for you while you're there with me. It's basically holding your hand and helping you get the listing from the right off the bat. So that you can learn and see, just like I was a sponge, so you can soak up everything as far as what we have figured out that works, rather than trying to reinvent the wheel. Go with us, we'll tag along and lead you along.
Yes. You may answer my next question already. A lot of people ask me, why would I want to join a team? And I think you just said that, because most agents, they come in, they don't have a clue what they're doing. Right. And even though we offer a ton of training, it's totally different taking that and just winging it versus going with someone like you and you saying, do kind of the I do, we do, you do thing, like watch me and then I'll watch you and then you can fly the nest, right?
And that's it. So it's why reinvent the wheel just because you want to create. A lot of it's somewhat of an ego thing. So people get into a business, they're creating their own business. They're jumping into real estate because they want to own their own business. And I get that 100%. You can own your own business but not do anything and it doesn't help you. So you can jump into it and basically have somebody help you create your business. Take your ego out of it. Your name's not going to be everywhere on billboard. You can pay to put your name on a billboard, but unless you have systems in place that have been proven to work, all of that ego-driven marketing is not going to do anything.
Right.
If it's just going out the window, you're wasting money. And people get scared about splits and whatnot when it comes to teams, but 100% of nothing is nothing.
Right.
And so that's the biggest thing that people look at. And I commend people for trying to do things on their own. And the people that can do it on their own, they're not on their own. They have help behind the scenes. So people pay for admins, people pay for TCs. Well, when you join the team, you get that automatically.
Yeah. So what it sounds like is when someone joins a team, they have someone that's going to help hold their hand and teach them the systems and the models and the process. And what it sounds like is that they don't need to be so focused on what's my split now, because again, if you're joining a team, I don't know, maybe you can speak to this. When someone joins you, instead of them doing the average of 3 or 4 deals a year, which is what the average realtor does, okay, they're probably going to quadruple or times 6 or 7 that if they're on a team. Would you agree?
Yeah, if you do the standard, if you do the work that we instruct and teach and train to, I mean, if you're not doing at minimum 12 to 18 deals your first year, you're not doing the systems right. So the goal would be 24 deals your first year. And I think that's what I did first starting out.
Right.
And this was a little different at the time just because of COVID and everything, but I think it's completely reproducible. I think that with the database systems that we have, tracking systems, accountability systems, it's almost foolproof.
Yeah. So you're comparing doing 24 deals to on average 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, what else? Okay, so why else would someone want to join a team? So it sounds like they have someone more there to help walk them through things. They're going to be in a higher level of production.
Yeah.
Right. What else do they get?
That support is probably the most important, because whenever things happen, you want an immediate solution. And unless you know the route to take to get to that immediate solution, you're going to go through mistakes and trial and error. Whereas, Randy and Kathy, team owners, they've been doing it 30 plus years. They've been through all that mistake. So I've told a lot of people now, my word for 2025 is opportunity. So you have the opportunity to learn from other people's mistakes rather than just trying to make a mistake, learn on your own. Like, why would you want to go through all that?
Yeah.
So I think the biggest benefit that a team offers is opportunity opportunity for leads, opportunity for growth, opportunity to learn,
Mm-hmm.
because even when mistakes happen, you're learning from the mistake.
Yeah.
So I think support, opportunity, growth, leadership, because at the end of the day, I mean, if we're not training people to then come teach classes, to then come develop other agents along the way, then it's not really benefiting anybody.
Yeah, I like that. Turn the coin over for me. Why would someone not want to join a team, or what maybe is something that's just not a good fit for a team?
So to circumvent that from having somebody on a team that maybe can't really cooperate on a team, we do a KPA and then a DISC, personality assessments.
Mm-hmm.
So those personality assessments are going to tell us, is this person coachable? Is this person trainable? Is this person too rigid in their ideology, thought process, training styles? Because we can teach almost anybody, but it's going to be a whole lot harder to teach somebody who doesn't want to learn, who isn't flexible, who isn't ready and willing to learn and do the things that that sometimes people with like a high D will push back automatically. And that's a little bit of a red flag. We don't always, say this is 100% a no because of this assessment, but it helps us learn because everybody learns differently. And so from a personality standpoint, we've got to train to that personality. And so if somebody's just off the chart in a specific personality, it's going to make us a little more hesitant to say, hey, we're going to have to really look at this from a personality standpoint. So I think somebody that, doesn't take instruction well, that doesn't have the flexibility to learn and grow outside of, what they don't already know, then that would be a red flag, I would say.
Yeah, I'd say so. It sounds like it's pretty calculated.
It is.
Right, so it's not just like who wants to be on a team, come join us. It seems like there's an interview process. Do you guys call it that?
It's kind of a 3-step interview process. Okay. So I initially meet with them and just get a good feel and see if they would be a good fit, personality-wise, knowledge-wise, and you gotta have somewhere to start. And then Randy would meet with them, and then Kathy meets with them, and then sometimes we all meet at the same time. Just one full big meeting, but yeah, we do the assessment. We meet after the assessment's done, the DISC assessment. We then go over the assessment and say, hey, where do you think this lines up with what the results say? And that gives us a good tell of if it would be a good fit.
Love that. Okay. All right, we're bringing someone on this. All right. Last question. Any piece of advice you'd give any agents out there that are just trying to amp up their production? They're trying to do better. What do you see out there that people are just messing up on that you could fix?
So I would say 2 things. So back to the team. You mentioned teams a second ago. I've seen a lot of people say, or a lot of people post on social media, and I've seen other teams tout a team. Yes, they're a group of agents that say they're a team, but they have zero accountability. They have zero systems in place. And so if somebody out there is interviewing teams and they want to know what to ask that team as far as like what they do, if they can't give you, this is what systems we do, this is what happens when we do this is how we market, this is the hierarchy of the team, they're not a team. They might say they're a group of agents, but they're not structured. It's different. But the biggest pitch, I would say, for an agent starting out or even in the business, hold yourself accountable. And if you can't, find somebody to hold you accountable. And if you get a CRM, that can hold you accountable in itself. Get a CRM that tracks you. We use Brivity. And Brivity has these built-in accountability tools that say, hey, if your goal is this, you need to make this many calls. That's basically 411 on steroids in the system. To make this much GCI, you've got to do this many calls. And it tells you, like, hey, since you're calling out of your database, if you've done 10 calls, you're this many percentage off where you need to be. So it's just this built-in accountability. So if you don't have accountability and you can't hold yourself accountable, then you're just going to keep doing the same thing.
And accountability to what? So it sounds like it holds you accountable to making some calls.
Yep.
But talk to me like I'm a brand new agent. When you say accountability and systems is super important, accountability to what metric?
Really kind of everything. So accountability to following up on tasks. If you called somebody and you said you were going to follow up with them, you schedule it in the CRM and it reminds you both text, email, whatever, maybe however you have it set up. But then on a GCI, if you say you want to make $50,000, your average price point is going to be this, since this is what you kind of expect. You need to do this many 14 transactions, 15 transactions.
Mhm.
15 transactions means your ratio to conversion is whatever it may be. You need to actually call this many people per week, so it back ends everything.
I see.
And so it just kind of makes it foolproof from that
Cool.
standpoint.
I love it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, man, thanks for being here. Appreciate
Absolutely.
you.
Thanks for
Thanks, dude. All right.